Tribe, it's your girl Naja here, and I'm back with another video. I brought back the purple bob that you guys all love so much. I realized I only wore it once and I found it in my closet with the rest of my wigs. I'm taking this jacket off, bitch, it's hot. Should I keep it on? Take it off, keep it on, take it off, keep it on. I'll probably take it off later. So I only wore this wig like once, and then I found it in my box of wigs because I have a whole box filled with little boxes and little bags filled with wigs. And I was going through it because I was looking for a wig, like new wigs for my skits, because the wig that I gave Cancer on my zodiac sign skit is kind of cringy, and it was funny at first. Like, it was an obvious joke at first. All their wigs are bad, like, let's be real. Not one of them girls' wigs is laid, and that's because I'm constantly throwing wigs on and off. Like, I'm not about to sit here and lay a wig like how I laid this wig on my head on a skit, okay? But yeah, I found this wig. So this is an old wig. This is a Bobby Boss wig. This video isn't sponsored, so yeah, I bought this wig with my own money. It's a Bobby Boss wig. It was probably like 50 bucks. It's a synthetic wig. This is not human hair, even though it looks nice. And I didn't even flat iron it. I took it straight out of the bag, and it's still like this. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. And I gave one of these wigs to one of my subscribers like a few months ago because I ordered it in the wrong color, and I'm not really a blonde type of girl, so yeah, I gave them the wig. Today is going to be a call center story from my call center series. That's a mouthful, okay? This is a story time that a lot of you guys have been requesting, and I just had to wait to get the chronological order in place. But this is basically the time where I got one of my old friends a job at Ratchet Corp. And if you guys have been following my story times for, I guess since like I started doing story times on YouTube like a year ago, like that's when I mainly talked about like my friends, well, my old friends and stuff like that. This is one of those people who have a history in my storytime playlist. So if you guys are not aware of my history with this person, I highly advise clicking on my storytime playlist at the end of this video, not the call center one, just the overall storytime playlist, and it should take you all the way to the beginning to introduce you to all of these characters. Storytime is about an old friend of mine who we call Pisces on this channel, and just breaking it down on how I got her this job, because this was also the point where we stopped being friends. And it will kind of make sense to you guys why I talk about her the way that I do, because I'm gonna get to it. You guys are gonna see, okay? If you like this video and you've been waiting for this video, give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. So as you guys know, if you have watched other story times, I have stupidly gotten my friends jobs at Ratchet Corp, and every time it always went to shit. I have not got one person a job at Ratchet Corp where they stuck to it, and I think that just shows how I was already at a different place than other people, like on a maturity level, if that makes sense, even though I was the youngest person out of every person that I brought in there. The first person who I got a job was Leo, and if you guys saw that video, that's Leo just got fired because he just didn't want to come to work. And then I got another girl a job, and I actually called her a different name in the story time, and it's actually in my Storytime movie with the supervisor, the girl that like I had hooked up with or whatever. She is actually the same girl who I called Dana from the Grand Theft Auto story time where we stole the car off the lot. So that's the same girl, and I never told you guys the connection, but now you know. Dana a job. Dana ended up fucking the supervisor and was like, fuck this shit, I'm not about to, you know, have this on my job record, and I totally feel her for that. But one thing I can say about Dana is that Dana is a hustler. Like, Dana is a hardworking bitch. Like, till this day, we may not talk, but we don't have any problems with each other. It's just we're at different parts in our lives, but I would never say that Dana is not a hardworking bitch. Like, she's a hustler for real. So there's Dana. You guys know Leo and I no longer talk. But I don't have any bad blood with him. He might have some with me. I'm not really sure because we don't talk. Who else did I get a job? Oh, I think I even got Daniel's mom a job for a point in time because she just needed like a crossover job, but she just left when she got more money, and I don't fucking blame her. But yeah, I think those are all the people. And then Pisces, who I got the job at Ratchet Corp. Like, I just wanted everybody to have money, bruh. I'm sorry, I'm that friend. Like, if I'm going out with you and I got money and you don't got money, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I just want everybody to prosper. And I was at Ratchet Corp at this point for 2 years, and it was just like, look, they'll hire anybody, and if you do what you're supposed to do, they'll keep you. Around this time, I quit smoking. This was like when I like for real like buckled down, like I'm not smoking, like I'm done type, like I was done. That played into a really big role on why Pisces and our relationship fell out, unfortunately. Around this time, Pisces had a girlfriend, and I remember I made a story time video about it where it's called When Robbing the Plug Goes Wrong. She was still with that same girl who I believe I called Capricorn because she is a Capricorn. And if any of you guys are into zodiac and astrology and shit, Pisces and Capricorns they just don't. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And it was just very evident that it just didn't mesh, but there were some points where they meshed very well. But the majority of the time they were arguing, they were fighting, blah, blah, blah. So why I'm even saying that is because old girl lived in Georgia and Pisces lived with me in Jacksonville or whatever. And at that time, I believe Pisces was like a server, and she may have even had another job. I'm not really sure, but her and her girlfriend were trying to plan to like move out together, or maybe she was gonna plan to move to Georgia, like something like that, so that she needed more money so that they could be on their own and that it wasn't long distance anymore. Because what she would relay to me is that most of the relationships issues came from a trust factor because they were long distance. So she needed the money, and she needed the money fast. And she also had other things going on that come along with adulthood that are very common, you know, like needing to pay for your phone bill, needing health insurance and stuff like that. Like, so she was just under a lot of pressure. And I'm one of those friends where it's like, if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. And that may be my downfall, but even though people have taken advantage of that trait of me, I will, and I've said this in another video in the past, I will never alter my being just because somebody else took advantage of a good trait that I have. You get what I'm saying? So, and I'm still that way till this day. Like, I'm a very forgiving and giving person. When I saw she was down on her ass, I'm like, girl, just work at Ratchet Court. Like, it's peak season. They hire anybody at around this season. Like, just coming, you know, work with us. And it's funny because when she got hired to work there, it was around the same time that Dana, or whatever nickname I called her in the Storytime movie, I'm gonna continue to call her Dana because I rewatched that video. I rewatched my old videos, y'all. Like, I used to be so soft-spoken, like, and now I'm just like, what's up, everybody? And people always ask me, like, girl, how do you get so outspoken on camera, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, I wasn't always like this. Like, go watch my old videos. It's just something that you just grow into. Dana and Pisces had beef. I don't know what the beef was about. I do not remember. But they had beef, but I was cool with both of them. Because I'm one of those people, I don't give a fuck with you. I'm not one of those friends that'll be like, oh, you don't fuck with my friend, well, I don't fuck with you. Like, no, I am an adult. I'm gonna have my own relationships with people. So they didn't fuck with each other, but I did not remember why. But Dana was working in loss prevention with me over P, because you know Raymond and shit was in there. And Pisces was working in customer service. And I even said that in the video before this where she gave me the fucking volume and my dumb ass took it. They were on different sides of the building, but it would be awkward when like we would both, well, I would try to hang out with one and then the other would just be sitting there looking at me, or like I would hang out with the other and the other would be looking at me like, sis, like, so it was weird. But yeah, I don't remember why they were beefing, but they just were beefing. And I know that they did have a previous sexual relationship. So I don't know if that's what it was about, but I'm not gonna speak on behalf of them. Plus it's really old beef. Like, this happened, what, like 2 years ago? So yeah, whatever. Yeah, Pisces got the job obviously because she has a really nice speaking voice. She's very people oriented. I would go over to her desk and visit her. She would try to come into the loss prevention room, but like, they were not playing about the loss prevention room. Like, she would literally have to stand at the door and then somebody would be like, hey, Najee, your friend's at the door, and I would have to go, because it's like, if you don't have the badge to get in there, you're not gonna be allowed in there. Like, they don't allow any customer service people in the room because people be stealing, people be getting them card numbers down and go home and steal. Yeah, so we would hang out a lot. Like, we would just, you know, we would take our lunch breaks at the same time because we did have the same schedule for a while, that early ass 6 to 2:30 shift, or we would take our breaks together. And like, that's when I had first really started getting into vaping and stuff, since I had quit smoking weed. And you know, sometimes after work she would come over to my apartment and we would chill and drink wine, you know, like it was all a good vibe. But I had issues with my relationship at the time. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't really talk about Daniel and I's relationship, like our history and stuff, in depth, only because I don't want to be that type of person that comes off like, oh, my relationship is so perfect. Like, what you guys see, things were not always like that, okay? What you guys are seeing is tons of fucking work from both sides. Like, me and Daniel used to be a hot ass mess, okay? We used to be a hot, smoking hot ass mess on both sides. I was crazy as shit, okay? I was crazy as shit. And then Daniel had his own shit going on too. And quitting drugs really, really helped our relationship a lot. Like a lot. Like when we both just quit cold turkey, because I'm not gonna talk about Daniel's use and stuff like that. We used some similar drugs, and then some drugs he would do and I wouldn't do, if that makes any sense. Once we both just got sober and quit cold turkey, that's when our relationship grew into what it is now. But at that point, it was fucking bad. So I would vent to Pisces at work. I would vent to her like, oh my God, this nigga this nigga that. And she would say shit that would be kind of insensitive, but kind of like, I feel you because you're probably tired of hearing me talking about it, like genuinely. Like she would say stuff like,
why do you always go after men that don't want you?
And like stuff like that. And then it was also in the back of my mind that I couldn't really take her advice seriously, because I know that even though you have a girlfriend, like you have these underlying feelings for me because you exploded on me like not even a year ago about said feelings. And then on my birthday just a few months ago, you were trying to hook up with me and my boyfriend while you're still with your girlfriend. So I was having a hard time trying to come to a friend but not really trusting her, because I don't know if she's giving me real girlfriend advice or like advice from an admirer trying to deter me from something. You get what I'm saying? So that was a big thing as to why I kind of started getting distant, because I had my own shit going on in my relationship that I wasn't even claiming as a relationship yet. Like, y'all, I was crazy. Like, I'm like, oh, this not my boyfriend type shit. Like, I was crazy, bitch. Like, with that, and then also with Pisces and her girlfriend and all that turmoil, like, it was just too fucking much. So, you know, Daniel and I had to sit down and like, okay, we need to stop smoking. Like, we need to just stop everything cold turkey. The other drugs were not hard to quit, but smoking was really hard. So we just both buckled down. I was like, okay, we can't smoke anymore. And so then I noticed the things that Pisces and I had in common were becoming less and less, because we literally would smoke weed together all the time, or it would just always be the chase. And if you guys have ever smoked weed or done any drugs, you know what I'm talking about with the chase. Like, okay, we need this amount of dollars. Okay, now we need to find a weed man. Okay, now we gotta go to the store and get some gars. Okay, now we gotta go find a safe space to smoke so that we don't get caught by the police. Like, that's that chase, okay? So that's what we literally had in common, because we didn't really have much else in common. It was just starting to get more apparent, not just to me, but to her as well. Because I noticed there would be times where we would go and sit with each other at lunch at work. Like, she would do this thing, and I feel like a dick. Like, I really do feel like a dick looking back on it. But it was gonna happen eventually. And she would do this thing where she would try to have a sit down with me, and she would be like,
okay, look, I'm not gonna keep trying to be your friend. Like, if you don't wanna be my friend, you don't wanna be my friend. Like, we don't hang out, you don't text me, like, blah, 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 blah.
And I would just tell her like, yeah, you know, I'm going through a lot, you're going through a lot, and I'm really trying. Like, I really was trying, but in the back of my head, I feel like I wasn't. Like, I feel like I was trying to trick myself into thinking like, no, try to be this girl's friend, try to be this girl's friend. Despite all of the stories that you guys may have heard about her from the past, even though little bad things would happen, because all the stories that you guys hear with her in it are just like those bad incidents that happen. I'm not minimalizing those bad incidents. All I'm saying is that there were good times. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, I really don't want to lose another friend, because at this point, Leo was gone. I wasn't friends with Libra anymore, and I was just going through like this crisis in my head, like, I'm losing all of my friends. Like, Naja now, I've only had 2 friends for 2 years. That shit don't faze me, but back then I needed friends. Like, I needed social interaction. I needed somebody to call when I got off work. I needed somebody to call on my days off to hang out. Like, that's just how I used to be. So I was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, girl, you really don't want to be friends with her because you don't have anything in common. And like that was pretty much it. Like there was no beef, no nothing. But on the face front, I'm like, oh no girl, I'm trying to be your friend, like I'm sorry if I'm ignoring you. Time would go on and I would stop really sitting with her at lunch that much because she started doing what I said she was doing in the last video, like hanging out with the druggies at the job and getting turned up with the other customer service people, hanging out with that one white girl that was always fucking blowed out her mind. Like we weren't really like talking like that until one incident happened where apparently Pisces stole money from the white girl that looked like she's on drugs all the time. I think I called her Ace, I think. Yeah, like she stole like a good like $300 or maybe $200 or something like that from the girl, because it was, I don't even remember the occasion, but apparently the girl was just high out her mind, and in her brain she told Pisces that to hold the money, but then she spent it. I don't really know what was going on, but anyway, that created a little turmoil between them. So then that's when Pisces came to me like,
girl, I gotta talk to you. This bitch got me fucked up. She talking about I owe her money. I don't owe her no money. She gave me that money, blah, blah, blah.
To be completely fucking honest, I didn't care about what she was talking about, only because like if you watch my past story times, like bruh, it was a pattern with her. Unfortunate shit would always happen, so like I was kind of over it, but I was just happy that we were at least talking and the conversation did not involve me being cold or me being distant. Yeah, then after that happened, we did eventually have another talk, you know, and like, and another thing is, in a lot of our talks, she would always bring up the fact like,
damn, you still don't smoke weed? Like, damn, you still don't smoke weed?
So I know it was apparent to her also that like, we did, like there was something, a disconnect, because it's like we don't do anything, we don't have anything in common, like, and it just sucks because we were both growing up. Like I met Pisces when I was 16, 17 years old, and like now I'm 20, so it's like, well now I'm 22, but back then I was like 20, and it's just like, you know, I'm changing, like I'm sober now, I don't do drugs, and that's mainly all we would do together is get fucked up off drugs and go to these parties and stuff. Like I didn't really party anymore, but she was 22 at the time, my age now, and she was doing all that stuff. So I know it wasn't just one-sided. I don't know, I can't speak for her, maybe it was, I'm not really sure, but just the fact that she would ask me every now and then like, hey, like are you still not smoking? Like, or like, damn, I really wish I had somebody to smoke with. And then those questions really started dying down when she noticed like, okay, now I'm just not smoking anymore, now I'm just not doing drugs anymore. Like I really feel like when I took that one volume, that kind of piped her up like, okay, I got Naja back type shit, but nah. No, like, no, I was done, okay? Any of you guys out there that are struggling with addiction, nobody is fucking perfect, okay? Nobody is perfect. If you relapse, keep moving forward. Don't be like, okay, well, I fucked up and I did this once, so I might as well just do XYZ. Like, no, keep moving forward, please, like, don't let any shit deter you. We just kept having those conversations, and I remember the last one that we had, she was just like,
look, I am dead serious, like I will cut you off.
And it was crazy because like, that was the first time she was ever direct with me, because she's always like beat it around the bush and stuff like that, but I feel like she was at her breaking point.
Look, I work with you, but I will cut you off because I just don't feel like our friendship is being put first. Like, you don't fuck with me, you don't call me, like you don't ask me what you're doing, like you're so absorbed in whatever you're absorbed in and you don't let me in and type of shit.
Okay, like I was just like, okay, like I didn't have anything else to say, because at that point when she confronted me head on, I was like, Naja, this girl is not lying, like you're really not trying. Like, what is your reasoning for not even trying to be involved in this friendship? And to be honest, I think it may have just, I don't know, I just, like I keep saying, like I just feel like we didn't have anything in common anymore. Peak season was dwindling down, and usually once peak season is over, that's when they start making cuts. She told me, she was asking me, she was like,
I really hope I get hired on permanent because I'm gonna have enough money to get an apartment. Me and Capricorn are gonna move out, blah, blah, blah. Capricorn doesn't have a job right now, but I do, so I'm gonna be the provider and I make enough money here.
And I was boosting her up. I'm like, yeah, I really hope you get hired, but I know the criteria to get hired on. Like, what are your CSAT scores? Like, how many emails to the customers do you bust out in an hour? And when she told me, I'm like, yo, you're underperforming. Like, you can't just clock in, clock out and expect these people to keep you because they are only gonna, like, they'll pay for a body in a chair when they need a body in the chair, but when they don't need nobody in that chair and you're not boosting their shit up or making them more money, they don't need you no more. So I told her, I'm like, hey, for the next couple of weeks, you really need to show them like you're about that shit. I know she didn't take me seriously. I don't know how Ratchet Corp decided what they were gonna do, but they did end up firing her. When she was working at Ratchet Corp, it just seemed like she was finally getting everything together. And like Pisces would do that sometimes. Like it would just be like, okay, this is the game plan. I'm turning my life around. I'm getting everything together. And I was really proud of her during that time or whatever. Even though she was going out partying, like she always used to say like, work hard, play hard. Like that was her motto. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and party and I might not get home till 2 a.m. but you bet your ass I'm gonna be up at 5 a.m. to be at work. Like that's just how she was. So when I saw her, you know, getting in her little businesswoman type move, like coming into work full businesswoman gear and shit, like I really thought she was gonna get hired. Like she was being very positive about the whole situation. And when they decided like, no, we're not gonna hire you on permanent, she kind of just like fizzled away, right? And I did not keep contacting her after she left Ratchet Corp. Right, like our friendship just fizzled like that. And she told me, she's like,
look, if you don't want to put in effort, I'm just gonna cut you off.
And I didn't put in that effort and we just cut each other off. Like even right now, I don't even know why, and I think it's just for her like protection why I did this. I have her like blocked, and it's just so weird to me. Like I was thinking about it the other day because I was going through the blocked accounts that I have just so I could delete some, because like, girl, bye. Like I really don't care. I was going through my blocked accounts to see like who I wanted to unblock or whatever, and like I just saw Pisces username there and I was just like, damn, why do I have her blocked? And then when I thought about it, I'm like, we didn't even end on a nasty note. Like we didn't have an argument, we didn't have a fight. We kind of just like fizzled off because we didn't have anything else in common. The communication wasn't there. Neither of us were really putting in effort into the friendship, and I'm pretty sure on Pisces' end she felt like she was putting in a lot of work, but she really wasn't. Like Pisces was the type of person who she would call like 20 people her best friend, and then when all of her plans get fucked up, now all of a sudden there's 20 people that don't know each other at a party and they're all trying to hang out with Pisces. Like, so she may have felt like she was putting in a lot of effort, but it was just on both sides. We really weren't. And yeah, and that's for all of you guys always asking like how we fell out. That's pretty much it. Like we didn't have an argument, no bad words were spoken. And I do remember I blocked her on Instagram because I'm like, I don't want her to feel like me making videos about the crazy shit we did in our past. I don't want her to feel like I'm bashing her. I don't want her to feel like, you know, if anything, I'm just laughing at it. Like we both did stupid ass shit when we were younger. Like even the story time about my birthday when she tried to smash me and Daniel, like that shit was funny. Like looking back, it was funny. Maybe in the moment I was all ugh, but looking back, it was funny. And as I was telling it, it was already a thing of the past as well. So I don't know, just because of how other people who I've made story times about got really salty and shit when no bad shit was said about them, it was just the truth. I don't know, she was just somebody who I was like, I really don't want to hurt her feelings. I really don't want her to feel like I'm picking on her. I don't want her to feel like, does that make any sense? Like, I don't know. Only because we didn't have a bad falling out. Other people, yeah, we had a real nasty falling out. Do not talk to me whatsoever. But to be completely fucking honest, if Pisces were to hit me up just to be friendly, I would most likely respond. Only because we did not have a nasty falling out. We both were fucking crazy ass kids, but our falling out was not nasty. And a lot of people, when they would comment on videos of that, what me and Pisces went through, they would always say stuff like, oh, I'm so glad you're not her friend anymore. Like, oh, I'm so glad, I hope you're not her friend no more, and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you gotta understand, like these stories happened a long time ago. People grow, people change. And I don't know if that's just the forgiving person within me, but you can't judge somebody for the rest of their life what they did when they were 18 years old. Like you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's just the true tea on how I got Pisces a job and how it ended our friendship, and how that wasn't the only thing that ended the friendship, obviously, and then just also how our friendship ended, because a lot of you guys were asking me in the past. So yeah, have any of you guys ever had a friendship like that where it just like fizzled out because there was just nothing left? and there's no bad blood or anything, but it's just like we're different people. Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.
I just ran 100-yard dash. You spent too much cash. Screw your bags. I knew that you wouldn't last. I'm in physics class. I knew